Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Vivien. Vivien, I always love icebreakers because you get to know a little bit about the speaker by how they do their icebreaker, not necessarily the information, but how they do that. And I'm learning from listening to you that you like to do speeches out of the formal Toastmaster box. And I, being a Toastmaster for many years, I really enjoy seeing a little something outside the normal box. It really is wonderful. I think more of us should stretch. If nothing else, we take away tonight. For everybody should do what you're doing is stretch yourself a little outside the Toastmaster box once you're familiar with the box itself. You have a lot of energy, almost as much energy as the Energizer Bunny, and I think that's a real asset for you as a speaker. But there's one thing you need to be aware of when you do that. You have great facial expressions, good use of pauses, and you also are very good at using self-deprecating humor. That can be very dangerous. Sometimes it'll backfire on you, but you manage to use it joking about you comparing yourself to Pluto, and Pluto has even been downgraded as not a planet anymore. So I like that. There was a couple one or two other points where you got away with using self-deprecating music. And as an icebreaker, you use the speech as an opportunity to give us a message, including be the best version of yourself for others, not just for yourself, but for others. So there was a message in your speech. Now, the purpose of an icebreaker is to tell us a little bit about yourself. And I wanted to know a little more about this wild and wacky, woman, or how she became wild and wacky woman when she was a wild and wacky wild girl. So I wanted a little tidbit more about your wild and wacky story as a child. And I think that would have been great. And I'm sure you could do this as a humorous speech. That's the one thing you'd be maybe to add as an icebreaker. Maybe do this as a 5 to 7 minute icebreaker than 4 to 6. Secondly, although you got away with starting off the speech in multiple characters, you're going back and forth with multiple characters, and you're shifting when you're doing that, because you're the Energizer Bunny. Sometimes when you do that, you need to slow down just a little bit so we can absorb what's going on, because there's so much energy coming out of your speaking that sometimes you got to rein in that energy. And I know that's probably your biggest challenge as a speaker. So that's my challenge to you, is to sometimes know when to rein in that energy which you have. Again, and I'm not going to say the word, that S word, but you have a lot of great facial, all the tools in Toastmasters. You're wonderful. Just give us a little more information about this wild and wacky person, how you became. And second, finally, there are times you're just going to have to slow down. The Energizer Bunny is just going to have to slow down just a little bit. Oh, this was a wonderful speech to evaluate, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Alan, for your valuable words, and I appreciate you waiting up to almost 2 o'clock in the morning to give this evaluation. You have now permission to go to sleep. It is now time for